Welcome to the Stormcatcher Rolling Screen End Cap Measuring Video by StormSmart, a division of the Smart Companies. The purpose of this video is to give you basic knowledge of how to measure and properly write up an order for Stormcatcher End Cap rolling screens from StormSmart. There are many situations that you could come across while measuring for rolling screens that this video cannot cover, but by watching, you will learn how to measure and write up an order for most basic openings, as well as an idea of what to do in more sophisticated situations. To measure and write up your order, you will need a tape measure, pen or pencil, and a rolling screen order form. We also recommend that you have a total housing displacement chart and written instructions for end cap roll downs on hand. Lastly, it is important to understand the engineering for the product you are measuring so that you understand what fasteners you will use, edge distances needed for those fasteners, build out or build in sizes needed if applicable, etc. We'll start with a basic window opening. Our opening in this video is a concrete substrate. First, measure the width of the opening. Note that we recommend measuring width at both the top and bottom if possible, just to ensure that the opening is not out of square. Next, measure the height of the opening. In an instance such as this, the most common choice would be to use the B width and D height measurements on the measure sheet, as it is often the simplest way to write up the order. Keep in mind that you may need to add an additional ½ inch to 1 inch to your width measurement depending on what the engineering dictates on edge distances for your fasteners. The A and C measurements are the overall outside to outside width and height measurements. You would often use these dimensions if the opening is trapped, meaning your width and height are predetermined because you have to attach to the inside of the opening or some type of circumstance which is limiting the height, the width, or both. For instance, many windows have soffits directly above them, which means the overall height measurement can only be as high as the soffit allows. Once you've written up the measurements, you'll need to fill in the rest of the measure sheet, including color of screen, track hole spacing, color of hood and track, drive options, drive location, crank position, number of handles, and any additional notes or comments. A finished measure form might look something like this. Next, we will look at measuring a lanai opening. Stormcatcher rolling screens can span distances that other protection products cannot, so we'll look at a large lanai opening. Again, our substrate is concrete. Rolling screens can be attached to either the inside or outside of most lanai openings. We will show you both an inside and outside measurement, beginning with the outside. Measure the width of the opening as shown. If you have a large opening, we recommend enlisting the help of another person to measure the top of the opening if you can. Again, you're checking to see that the measurements are consistent and the opening is square. This opening will need build-in on the right side. To come to our B width measurement, we'll subtract 3¼ inches, the width of the rolling screen track, from the measurement we took. To come to our A, or overall width measurement, we'll add 3¼ inches. There is no wrong way to write the measurement up, it is a matter of preference. If there had been another wall to attach to, we may have simply used the B width measurement. In a situation like the one shown, you'll need to refer to your engineering to figure out the type of build-in needed. The height of the build-in will be from the bottom of the header to the floor. Next, measure the height of the opening. Because there is soffit here, it would be best to measure from the soffit to the ground and use that as your C, or overall height measurement. As before, once the measurements for this opening are filled in, fill in the rest of the info needed to complete the order for the opening. Next, we will measure the same opening for the rolling screen to be installed on the inside of the lanai. Note that we must account for the trim on the wall. Then, we measure the width and height. In this case, we will use the A and C measurements because this opening is trapped. For our width, we'll subtract 2 inches for the trim from the A measurement and measure from the floor to the ceiling for our C height measurement. Both sides would need some sort of build-in here, for which we would refer to our engineering to figure out the appropriate build-in type. Once the measurements are taken and all information filled in for all openings, you are ready to place your order. Congratulations, you've learned to measure for and write up Stormcatcher End Cap rolling screens.